Thanks for checking out VA Disability Guide, your path to success. If you are seeing your VA medical providers for the first time for a non-service connected condition and it's not January, February, or March, then you need to keep watching this video. By following these simple steps, I saved $4,000 in out-of-pocket expenses for 2023, and I also have a tip to share with you at the very end as well. So stick around and let's find out. Quick disclaimer, I'm not a VSO or a lawyer. I'm a disabled veteran that has been going to the VA since 2018 and learned the ins and outs over the years. According to the VA's website, they are not authorized to bill your insurance company for treatments of your service-connected conditions. The law does require VA to bill private health insurance companies for all non-service connected care a veteran receives. Any money collected from your insurance company is used to lower the amount you owe out of pocket. VA does not bill Medicare or Medicaid. If you have private medical insurance and pay yearly deductibles, do you know how much you are paying in yearly premiums? Do you know what your annual deductible amount is? Do you know what your total out-of-pocket cost for the year could be? Do you know which months are best to see your VA providers each year? Do you have an idea how medical insurance works? And do you ever use the community care program for services not available through the VA? Let me know down in the comments if your medical premiums have skyrocketed in the last couple of years, and if you've ever used the community care program to get medical assistance outside of the VA. Also, real quick, if you don't mind, take a couple seconds and click that subscribe button as well. I would greatly appreciate that. First, let's go over 10 high-level steps how insurance essentially works. The process begins when a patient receives medical services or treatment. This could include doctor visits, diagnostic tests, prescription medication, or hospital stays. Healthcare providers such as doctors, hospitals, or labs submit claims to the patient's insurance company for reimbursement. These claims detail the services provided, associated costs, and any applicable medical codes. The insurance companies review the submitted claims through a process called claim adjudication. During this step, the issuer assesses the claim for accuracy, eligibility, and adherence to the terms of the insurance policy. The insurance company verifies the patient's eligibility and coverage at the time of the medical service. This includes checking if the patient's policy is active and whether the services are covered. Healthcare providers use standardized medical codes such as CPT and ICD-10 to describe procedures, diagnosis, and treatments. These codes are crucial for accurate billing and are used by both providers and insurers. After adjudicating the claim, the insurance company sends an explanation of benefits, or EOB for short, to the policyholder. The EOB details the services covered, the amount paid by the insurance, any remaining balance, and the patient's responsibility, such as co-payments or deductibles. Once the claim is approved, the insurance company issues payment to the healthcare provider for the covered services. The payment amount is based on the terms of the insurance policy and any negotiated rates with the provider. The EOB outlines the patient's financial responsibility, which may include co-payments, co-insurance, or deductibles. The patient is responsible for paying these amounts directly to the healthcare provider. If there are disputes or discrepancies in the claim process, either the healthcare provider or the patient can initiate an appeals process. This allows for a review and resolution of any issues related to the claim. The patient will pay any amount still due to the healthcare provider for medical services received. What's the difference between your premium and your deductible? A premium is the amount of money you pay each month to remain covered by your insurance plan for that given year. A deductible, however, is the amount of money you have to spend out of pocket before your insurance benefits kick in to help cover your health care or other cost. It's important to note that the higher your premium is, the lower your deductible will be, and vice versa. You should choose a deductible that is within your financial ability and does not cause large financial difficulty. If you have a high deductible health plan, you should consider opening a health savings account, also known as an HSA. I highly suggest that you check out my other videos where I share with you my HSA investment strategy. Do you know the average annual cost in 2024 for employer-sponsored health insurance? If you are single, it will cost you roughly $1,400 in premiums and $7,000 for your employer. For a family, it'll cost around $6,500 in premiums and $17,500 for your employer. The deductible typically resets at the beginning of each calendar year starting January 1st. Open enrollment for the upcoming years usually starts the first week of November. Any amounts paid towards the deductible in the previous year do not carry over, and the policyholder starts anew with the annual deductible amount. Only covered medical services contribute to the deductible. Services not covered by the insurance plan do not count towards the deductible amount. Plastic surgery is a great example, as it's an elective surgery and not medically necessary. Medical expenses incurred by the policyholder accumulate throughout the year and count towards meeting the deductible. This includes costs such as doctor visits, lab tests, and prescription medications. Insurance plans often negotiate discounted rates with in-network providers. The deductible is applied to those negotiated rates rather than the full charges, potentially reducing the out-of-pocket cost for the policyholder. As an example, have you seen an EOB where the medical provider charged $500 for their services and the insurance adjusted the amount down to $300? After the policyholder meets the deductible, the insurance plan typically shifts to a different cost-sharing agreement, such as a coinsurance, where the insurance company pays a percentage of covered expenses and the policyholder pays the remaining portion. A typical example would be an 80-20 or a 7-30 split. That's where the insurance company covers 80% of the bill and you would be responsible for the remaining 20% until your overall max out-of-pocket has been reached. There are 6 criteria that can qualify a veteran to receive community care. Veterans only need to meet one of these to be eligible. Veteran needs a service not available at a VA medical facility. Allergy shots, podiatry, or maybe dermatology as examples. Veteran lives in a U.S. state or territory without a full-service VA medical facility. Veteran qualifies under the grandfather provision related to distance eligibility for VCP. VA cannot provide care within certain designated access standards. It is in the veteran's best medical interest. A VA service line does not meet certain quality standards. Next, let's talk about why you should be seeing the VA providers between January, February, and March. You need to be financially strategic. You should schedule any non-urgent medical costs covered by the VA at no cost to you at the beginning of the year. As discussed earlier, the VA will bill your primary insurance for any non-service connected medical expenses. You want to save any out-of-pocket expenses for the end of the year if seeing medical providers outside the VA. You may have a medical provider you really trust and enjoy doing business with, rather than seeing a new provider within the VA. Now let me share with you my personal real-world example of saving $4,000 and what my yearly premiums cost me. In 2024, my yearly premium will cost me $4,400 for my family coverage. My employer will pay $17,950. That's a grand total of $22,350. I will be required to pay up to $4,000 out of my own pocket towards my deductibles. After the $4,000, my maximum out-of-pocket will be $8,000 for the year, so after the $4,000 deductible is met, I'll pay an 80-20 split with my insurance provider, meaning they will cover 80% of the cost and I'll be responsible for 20% of the cost. Once my 80-20 split out-of-pocket contribution reaches a total of $4,000, my insurance will cover all medical expenses for the remainder of 2024. What if there was a way to save money and only pay 50% of your total out-of-pocket responsibility? Is it possible? Absolutely, and I'll show you how. I strategically schedule to see my primary VA doctor the first week of January. I get my blood work completed and also have an EKG performed every year. I schedule my allergy retest for the second week of January, which is through the community care program at my local ENT provider, since the VA does not provide this service at my VA hospital. These 2 visits alone get me to an annual $4,000 deductible, and the remainder of the year is an 80-20 split for my family for any medical expenses until our maximum is met. I save any upper EGD procedures for December, as well as any annual dermatology appointments, which is now at 80% discount, which I can then go and see from my private providers. As a bonus tip, let's say you know every year you need a medical procedure like an EGD or a colonoscopy or something similar, and you have a private medical provider outside the VA you prefer to perform this procedure. You know from previous bills it will cost you $4,000 for everything. If you push this procedure to December, that gives you 11 months to see the VA for anything else that would go towards your annual deductible and then towards your max out of pocket. If you get at least past your annual deductible and you have an 80-20 split, you just got your future medical procedures at an 80% savings. So in this example, if you met your deductible and you had an 80-20 split, instead of paying $8,000 total out of pocket, you would only be responsible for paying $4,000, saving you at least half and possibly even more. Again, this is not illegal in any way. It's just a loophole that I've discovered and taken full advantage of so that my family doesn't have to pay any additional expenses in a world that is already expensive enough. This allows me to save money to invest in one of my investment accounts. And if you haven't seen that video already, check out my channel and watch that video about investment options to see if you are maximizing your investment strategies and growth potential. At the end of the day, you want to make your money work for you, and you do not want to work for your money. Before you go, if you liked today's video, do me a huge favor and leave your comments below. And don't forget to click the like, share, and subscribe button. As always, to help support this channel, please consider clicking on the links below in the description that help support veteran-owned businesses and companies that I buy from, which offer great products and services that I use and trust.